Hello, League. It is I, your commissioner, here to once again go over everyone's favorite recap and power ranking video. I know there are several of you waiting to see where you will go. Will you go up? Will you go down? Will you stay the same in the power rankings? How will the recap be viewed? Well, it's all coming to you now on a glorious Thursday night. The picks will be in later. My predictions will be in. I'm very excited to get this rolling and to get a nice preview and the power ranking. So without further ado, we'll start with the preview. We will start with our first matchup, which is Christopher Michael Gazzaro, 1-0. 1-0. Can you believe it? Against Mike Russell, former two-time champion, who was 0-1. Now, Christopher has half of his team playing in primetime, including Mr. Pitts. Now, I know many of you are excited to see Mr. Pitts in action on primetime, myself included. Christopher needs as much as he can get from Pitts. Christopher's team played well last week in primetime. Can he do it again? 2-0, Christopher? I don't want to say playoffs, but the odds are pretty good. Now, Mr. Russell, on the other hand, he has a couple of tough matchups this week. This is also a matchup of the first and second pick in our fantasy drafts. Ja'Marr Chase, who Chris was befuddled to pick, and Saquon Barkley. Mr. Russell made that selection from the pool. Is he regretting it? Time will tell. But for now, it is Saquon versus Ja'Marr Chase. And I think we could also potentially see a Travis Hunter week this week. Don't tell me why. I just have a feeling that that's how it's going to shake out for Russell. But if you put a gun to my head, you tell me, Steve, who's going to win this matchup? I need you to pick a winner. I'll pick you a winner. I think it's Christopher Michael. I really do. I can't believe I'm saying it. I think the curse might have transitioned to Andy when he didn't pick Puka. I don't know. I don't know. But I have Gaz winning this matchup. Next, we have Luke Bonomo versus Pat McCann. Now, this is a matchup some may consider the toilet bowl of quarterbacks between Drake May and Caleb Williams. Not me, but some. Both of these players, though, are 1-0. One has a championship. One does not. I don't need to say who has who. But Pat does not have Brock Bowers. So that could spell huge for Luke. But he does have Harold Fanon Jr. I cannot believe he was owned prior to this week, but he was. And Pat might have a replacement for his tight end, who is not out yet, but all indications are he will be. So we have to see how that's going to shake out. And we have to also wonder, are the wide receivers for Luke doomed, or is it just a week one fluke? I kind of think it's a week one fluke. The Texans did not look good. The Lions did not look good. But you got to have faith that things are going to get better for those two. They're both too talented to not get any better than they were. So, again, this is a tough matchup. Yahoo has Luke winning this matchup, and I think I am going to agree with Yahoo here. I'm going to take Luke to win this matchup. Let it be known I was 1-4 in my picks last week, so sorry, Luke, and sorry, Gaz. Next, we have Tui versus Richie. This is a tough one for our good friend Richie, as he has Jaden Daniels tonight on Thursday Night Football, Amazon Prime, going against him in fantasy. Richie is hoping for a big night from Mr. Austin Eckler, or maybe Bill Don't Call Me Crosby Krosky Merritt. I think it's going to be a fun night. I don't think Richie's going to be very happy to see that he has to go up against what could be a 35-point night in his quarterback. But on the flip side, Richie, Tui is starting Jalen Waddle, which is never good. Jalen Waddle, a mortal enemy of mine. I honestly can't pick any team that has Jalen Waddle on it. And Richie has a player who I think many of us are excited to see in Emeka Ibukem, as some may say. He is perhaps going to be a formidable wide receiver in fantasy. Will Richie's tight end be a formidable wide receiver in fantasy? It may seem that is true as well. And if I'm going to make a pick in this one, which I will, I'm paid to by the Commissionership of Fantasy Football, Yahoo's saying Tui, I'm taking Rich Pacella here, folks. I don't know. I have a feeling that Rich is going to pull through. I think he's gonna find a way, and he might get the best of both worlds. Coming up later, you'll find out my pick of the night. I think the Commanders are in for a good night. So I have Rich winning this matchup. Next, we have Dylan versus Stokes, and this is considered by Yahoo to be the matchup of the week. It is the closest projected matchup. There are things with both teams I like, things with both teams I do not like. Stokes needs to win. He cannot start 0-2. Very hard to make the playoffs at 0-2, just as Christopher. And he does have my true mortal enemy, Justin Herbert. I do think that there are positives with each team. I think Stokes' running backs are going to shine this week. I think Dillon has to get more from his wide receivers and quarterback, particularly A.J. Brown. Something has to shake out with it. He has to play better than he did. Bo Nix, you would think, has to play better than he did. I think with this matchup, I do think it's going to be a 5 or 6 point matchup, which is close. It's a touchdown. Due to the fact that Stokes is 0-1 and that Dillon got as many points from his kicker and defense last week, I'm going to lean with Stokes, even though Yahoo has Dillon as the favorite. So Stokes, I apologize. I'm taking you, holding my nose, and selecting the team with Justin Herbert on it. And last but not least, this is a huge matchup, folks. I know it's week 2. It's September 11th, RIP. People are saying, hey, Steve, how can it be a huge matchup? It's September. It's early. Folks, 0-2. One of these two teams will be 0-2, and that is Andy Unchained versus Tom Gorman. Now, I just said it before. I've got a rule. I can't pick anybody that's starting Dolphins. Unfortunately for our good friend Tom Gorman, he is starting a Dolphin in Tyreek Hill. Now, listen, things could get better this week. It's just a toxic wasteland, that team, that I want nothing to be a part of, or don't want any part of. I just can't select anybody starting a Dolphin at this moment. Andy, though, is starting Jahmyr Gibbs, who perhaps the Lions are done. Perhaps Andy cursed himself. I am going against the curse right here and saying that Andy Unchained will win. Now, Yahoo is Andy winning too, but I don't know. I can see Tom winning this one. This is a toss-up. I have no strong feeling in this game. Do I go against the curse? Do I go against the Dolphins? These two are probably going to tie. But those are my winners. I have Gaz, Luke, Rich, Stokes, and myself. I play Kyle. I will not make a selection. Let me just say that Derrick Henry plays the Browns. So that's all I've got to say about that. And without further ado, my power rankings for week 2. Now, I know many of you are excited to see the power rankings. This is why you show up. This is why many of you just fast forwarded to the 7:05 mark here to see who did I pick to be the number 12 or the number 1 team. Well, starting at number 12, listen, I take no joy in doing this, but when you score 53 points, you have to be 12. I have Kyle at number 12. Not much else to say. At number 11, I have former 2-time champion Mike Russell. Now, look, I expect more from Russell. I think Russell will be better than this. I had Russell ranked at 9. He fell 2 spots. Things will turn around for Russell. I think I do have him losing this week and going to 0-2, but man, I don't know. Right now, I've got to have Russell at 11. And at number 10, I have Andy Unchained. Now, listen, Andy Unchained, I keep saying it. I'm going to keep saying it until the cows come home. He may have dearly cursed himself by not taking his sweet puka. There are signs of life for Andy's team. He almost won. If Aaron Jones doesn't have that touchdown in the fourth quarter, staying up all night to watch the fourth quarter just to see Aaron Jones rip your heart out. That's what fantasy is made of. Andy in 10th. In 9th, I have Matt Stokes. Now, this is a peculiar spot for Matt. He's very rarely outside of my top 8 playoff projected teams. But he has the Antichrist at quarterback. So I will have to begrudgingly put Mr. Stokes at 9. I'm sure he's thrilled to hear that because that means he's probably due for a couple of wins. At number 8, another man who's very happy to see that I have him ranked here is John Tui. Now, John would be higher. John had a tough week against me. I got very lucky in spots. John got very unlucky. His team is better than that. I think he knows that. I think we all know that. He just has Jalen Waddle, so ceiling is only so high. But Mr. Tui at number 8. At 7, I have Tom Gorman. Now, Tom is the highest-ranked loser of the week. I think Gorman has a good team. Even though I'm picking him to lose this week, I think he has a good team. Just, can Tom Gorman get enough out of CeeDee Lamb, Devonta Smith, and Travion Henderson this week? I think Mahomes is going to eat. I think Josh Jacobs is going to eat. He's got Tyler Loop, who is a future member of the Blair Witch Project, if I don't say so myself. But I have Mr. Gorman at number 7. At number 6, I have Luke Bonomo. I think Luke has a really good team, and it could be thwarted by his quarterback. It might not be, though. I could be proven to be wrong. But if Luke gets good play out of his quarterback, he's going to be a top 3 team. If he doesn't, he's going to probably be a playoff team, but it's going to probably be a slog similar to last year. At number 5, I have myself. I won't rank myself too high. I'm not one of those people that is going to say, I won week 1. I'm a playoff team. I'm the best team in the league. No, nonsense. I'll let the sheet that I make say that, not me. So I have myself at number 5. At 4, I have Dylan, and I think Dylan would be higher, like Luke Bonomo, if he did not have who he has at quarterback. And if A.J. Brown showed any sense of life, signs of life, he has not yet, but he could. And he won last week, so you take a win. He put up 90 points, you take a win. So I have Dylan at number 4. At number 3, the highest he's maybe ever been ranked is Christopher Michael Gazzero. Now, look, I got to give credit where credit is due. Chris had a good week. He moved all the way up from 12 to 3. And if Chris loses this week, I'm sure he'll find himself way back down to 12. But for right now, I have Christopher Michael at number 3. I like Chris's team. I think Chris did a good job of letting the board come to him, other than the second pick, which threw him for a loop. But Mr. Gazzero at number 3. And at number 2, I have a man who I owe an apology to. A man who I said I wasn't sure about some of his selections. A man who I said Nick Chubb in the 6th round. Yes, that is Pat McCann. Pat McCann, for me, is currently the number 2 team. And I give Pat a lot of credit because he was able to win week 1 with a nice 100 points. I think if Pat can get moderately high scoring out of Thaler Williams, that he will find a way into the playoffs. And when Pat makes the playoffs, things usually happen. Pretty good for him. And at number 1, I have the man, Tyler Warren's owner himself, the commander-in-chief, Rich Pacella. I mean, look, Rich shut me up. He shut everybody up. He shocked the world when he took Tyler Warren. He did a nice move in taking Emeka Egbuka. And I think that Rich is going to live and die by the rookies. And sometimes the rookies can carry you. That's what Rich is hoping for. I think if he's able to come into this league in his second year and make back-to-back playoffs, it's more than somebody else has done. I'd give him a lot of credit. So without further ado, the re-rankings is number 12 is Kyle. Number 11 is Russell. Number 10 is Andy. Cursed. Number 9 is Stokes. Number 8 is Tui. Number 7 is Gorman. 6 is Luke. 5 is myself. 4 is Dylan. 3 is Christopher Michael. 2 is Pat McCann. And 1 is Rich Pacella. So I wish everybody good luck this week. I hope your power rankings next week, you are higher, not lower. Some of you have nowhere to go but up. Some of you could go down. You know who you are. It figures to be a great week of fantasy football. Get your lineups in. I saw a lot of waiver transactions, a lot of people holding their money, not excited about what's on the wire. I understand that. There's not much out there. We're a deep league. We're a smart league. We're a fundamentally sound league. And I think, speaking of fundamentally sound, I like fundamentally sound bets. Tonight, my fundamentally sound bet is the Commanders, +3. Lock it in. Good luck, all. I wish no curses on anyone, even you, Christopher.